Hello everyone, Brad Johnson here. In this video I'm going to be talking about the importance of healing by permission. So, for some of you who have checked out the website consciousmatrix.com, you know that I do what's known as body regeneration healing, and that it's one of the very important factors relating to body regeneration healing is the ability of asking permission. And so what this basically represents is that when we're looking towards the aspect of permission, well, why is this important? If we are just doing a lot of love and light service, and that we are bringing forward energies of the highest best nature, why do we need to ask permission for that? Because everybody has their own unique understandings energetically of what love and light is. Because everybody has their own flavor, their own variation representing that energy. So if we're taking a look and thinking that an energetic dynamic like this would be the idea of one's love and light service, another's may look like this. Now, they all reflect different forms of love and light frequency. But if there is no permission, which represents awareness, pertaining to the facilitator, that may have this energetic for love and light service, and the client, or the healee in that sense, that has this particular form of dynamic, where there is unawareness, there can become blockages. There can also become what's known as grid leakages. And what grid leakages basically do is they create forms of contamination. They create distortions within certain levels of energy fields. And so when you are performing healing on another, it is very important to look into permission-based healing, that a person is aware that you are doing healing on them. Because if they are not aware, you can get these forms of grid leakages, you can have these forms of contaminations, and basically you may also feel that your healing just doesn't go through because there's no direct awareness. If a person is very, very closed off, then hardly any of that energy will come together. Now, there are some people who are insistent relating to wanting to perform a healing facilitation onto another person. Oh, but this person is suffering. They have cancer. They have diabetes. They have AIDS. They've had a heart attack. I got to just go in there, even if they're not aware of it, and try to fix them up, and try to heal them, and try to rearrange their grids, helping to rearrange their thought forms, etc. So, if you do that, if you try to send energy to a person, even though you do have, quote-unquote, good intentions in mind, and if whatever this person's distortion is, let's just say, for example, something to do with maybe the head trauma or something, and you try to go in without permission and try to repair a lot of that energy, basically what you are doing is you're creating a sub-law violation within the law of confusion. So if we have the law of confusion here, one of those aspects would represent either the law of karma, or you could refer to it also as the law of return. Okay? If you attempt to just go into a person's energy field, regardless of your intentions behind it, and start to mess around, so to speak, with their energetics, trying to make them feel better, when they have chosen that they have identified the illness or ailment as their form of identity, and you try to take that out, basically, that form of energy will now start to version itself into your energy field. Simply because if that person has not learned the lesson relating to the mentality that they have created in bringing that energetic together, well, that energy is not just going to disappear. It needs to go somewhere. So it's going to transit from them over to you. And this would represent the law of karma or the law of return. Just basically representing the idea that that energy needs to go somewhere because it's not harmonized. So if an energy is not harmonized, that transit of energy in its original form as it is now needs to go somewhere else. So not only will this person still face some effects of that, but you will be facing some effects of that particular mentality of energy as well too. And so there's a lot of people who I have met who really just want to go all out and want to help a person who is suffering and feel that they just want to go right into their fields, whether they believe in the energy healing or not, and they just want to go right on in. They want to pull out an energy, they want to pull out these cords, etc., etc. And what happens is that they end up getting sick, they end up getting hurt, they end up getting these particular forms of ailments that are now coming into their energy as well too. So this is why you want to make sure that everything you do is based upon the state of permission. Because if you don't, if you just go right on in, it's no more different than having like a backdoor Trojan virus on your computer. That they're going to try and seep their way in, and all of a sudden your computer is going to get hit with this pretty nasty virus. The same thing with you. If you attempt to muck around, so to speak, with another person's energy field, when they have not learned the lesson in capacity to the distortion that they have assigned in their energy field based upon their mentality, then that will transit to you in some type of form. This has happened. I've spoken to quite a few people who are just, very, very passionate in helping out a loved one, a person that they very deeply care about, and they just don't believe in the idea of energy healing. And so they go ahead, they dive into it anyways, and now they start facing some type of repercussion by attempting to violate the law of return, or the law of karma. You can also refer to it again in its other particular law of attraction. But a law of attraction would be more generalized in regards to the basis of all magnetic attraction. So this again would represent a subsidiary representing the law of karma and the law of return. So again, it's very, very important that if you do decide to do energy work, it is very important to make sure that you are permission-based in your ethics, representing the idea of being a healer. Okay? There are a lot of people in the world, of course, as we know, that are ill, that have a lot of forms of disorders, that have these feelings of ailments, and we want to help them. We want to be able just to say, I'll do this really wonderful healing on you, and we're going to work together to make this feel better. Absolutely. And that's what a lot of us would like to encourage. But unfortunately, not a lot of people have reached that mentality yet. And it's also very important to understand that the primary forms of a lot of these ailments, of a lot of these, I guess you could say, discrepancies, have been assigned by the client, by the viewer themselves. That they, at times, are deciding to leave the physical. And that this is basically a part of their soul agreement, where they may have cancer, they may have a heart attack, they may have a stroke, they may have some type of organ disease, and they end up passing this plane. Of course, none of us want to pass the plane in this way, but this is what their consciousness has decided to exit through this life, because everything that they have gone through in regards to all the choices that they have made, in regards to the theme, the life stream of their existence here on this planet, has led them into that transformation, into that transit. That's it. That's their own decision. We can negotiate with them all we want, but if they have made up their mind that that's how they're going to leave this planet, that's their choosing. They are their own being. They are their own unique self. So the key is being able to send love and being able to send blessings. See, it's not going into an energy field and trying to manipulate certain things to risk a law of return of a contamination nature. But you're basically just sending love. You're sending that love, you're sending that support, you're letting them know how much you love them, regardless of what happens. We could all have that time again. We're all destined for that time to eventually go back to source in some shape, way, or form. It could be through a disease, it could be through an ailment, it could be through some accident, it could be passing away peacefully in our sleep. Whatever it may be, we're all at those times at some point. It's about honoring the memory of the love that that person or persons have given to you and being able to share that love back to them. Because I've met quite a few people that just want, Brad, come on, I got this person who's suffering this really, really bad illness. She doesn't want, or he doesn't want, any particular help at all. Can you do anything? No, I can't. because I'm not greater than that person. I'm not greater than you. There's just that form of equality, that the very important part relating to healing is co-creation. That's all that any style, regardless of any theme that you want to look into, it's all about co-creation. I do not feel that, here you go, I snap my fingers, so I do a body regeneration healing in half an hour and you're feeling all better, even though you didn't want to, right? It's all based upon permission. When you are being a healer, you're building one half of that bridge. The person who you're performing the healing to needs to build that other half of the bridge in order for this rainbow bridge to be created. That's how it works. That's how it operates. You can certainly send a lot of wonderful energy and facilitation to a person, but that person has to decide, yes, I'm going to allow that facilitation of energy to come together. I'm going to build my other half of the bridge and meet you halfway. That is co-creational healing. That is how energy healing works. That's how it always works. Okay? Without permission, this is what creates violation. It's very, very true that there can be voodoo spells and that they can be hexes and stuff like that. There certainly can be, and I never recommend anybody going into that, but they certainly do exist. I have come across quite a few people who have had them, and these are, again, no more different than one person hacking into a computer program. Well, what is it in the deliverer are they going to have return? Yeah, they have to basically attempt to cycle it off and cycle it off and cycle it off, but again, those type of things do exist. Your auric field really is no different than a computer program, just of a completely different type. It can be hacked, right? That's exactly what happens in voodoo spells, in hexes. They do exist. But, like again, anything else that represents a shifting in program can also be relieved, can also be removed, can also be transcended. So there's a lot that happens within working with the energy field, working with energy, working with grids. But really looking to this in a state of integrity, that if there is something that's in permission, regardless of what it is that's looking to be healed, maybe it is something to do with a hex, maybe it is something to do with a voodoo spell, those happen. Witchcraft spells, Wiccan spells, etc. A lot of ones that can be loving, a lot of ones that can't be. So it all just depends. There's a huge menagerie, so to speak, of all different types of ailments, of all different types of enhancements, of all different types of spells, hexes, etc. that exist. They are very real. But if we're really looking into the idea of the integrity of ourselves, it begins with permission. Because this is not only performing a healing for one person, it's coming back to you as well too. When you're doing a wonderful service into a person that has accepted permission for you to work on them, that healing is coming back to you. Again, that's law of return, right? It keeps coming back. It cycles, cycles, and cycles based upon the mentality present that is coming together, right? So if one person is completely skewed, does not want your assistance, yet you go and help them anyways, what does that say about you? That represents the idea that you don't not respect the choice of the person who has decided to put this together as identity. Sure, we may not all agree with this, but as long as you feel that you need to violate their own free will in that way, law of return will come back. You do not respect that person's choice to go into this level. That now returns back to you. That energy, disharmonized, needs to go somewhere. So be very, very mindful in regards to any type of co-creational healing that you wish to do, that permission is vital. And this is what helps you in regards to an integral path representing the idea of the law of return and the law of karma. So thank you very much for watching. Any questions relating to this topic or any other topic shared on my YouTube channel, please feel free to contact me, info@consciousmatrix.com. Feel free to check out consciousmatrix.com for videos, sessions, training classes, and a lot more. Thank you again for watching. Take care, and I will talk to you soon. Namaste, and may it be well with you. Goodbye.